Fellow Nigerians, it might shock you to know that the Labour Party in Imo State has 4 different governorship candidates. It all happened that the Labour Party chairman, Mr. Abure, has a group that is loyal to him. And also, the Apapa faction also has a group that is loyal to it. And at the end of the day, these 2 groups still disintegrated to 4 different groups, and they ended up having 4 different governorship candidates. This is shocking. Just take a look at this video.
Less than 24 hours after this declaration was made, some supporters of the Labour Party in Imo State are gathered at another venue for another governorship primary election, this time conducted by Abayomi Arabambi, a member of the Lamidi Apapa-led faction of the National Work Committee of the Labour Party. And in another part of town, yet another primary election is holding.
Then all delegates from Olu West.
The National Vice Chairman Northeast, Alkali Mohammed Ibrahim, another member of the Lamidi Apapa faction of the National Working Committee, is spearheading the exercise. Ikechukwu Kegbu emerged as the winner of this primary election. Another faction of the Labour Party in Imo State, led by its chairman, Onyekulisi Festus, holds its primary election, producing Basil Maduka as winner. As at the last count, there are 4 candidates for the Labour Party in the Imo State governorship election. Residents are waiting to see how this plays out ahead of the November 11 governorship election in the southeastern state.
This is one of the members of the Apapa faction of the Labour Party. It is alleged that he's a very close ally to the governor of Ogun State. Listen to this.
Picture of you that has been going around with the governor of Ogun State, and that question has been raised time and again. In fact, I had a guest speak to that and they suspect that you might even be a double agent. Today you're with an APC governor, and then the next moment you are saying you're a Labour Party person. So are you friends with the governor of the APC in Ogun State? To what extent is that influencing what you're doing right now? Is the question they ask.
Yeah, thank you very much. Valentine Osigbo, before the president election, gave a directive from Mr. President, our president candidate. It's all over. That where we don't have candidate, we can support a candidate of our choice. He cannot come out to deny it because he was on so many, a TV station when he was rolling out the system. We don't have a government candidate in Ogun State. Don't forget, most of these obedience. In Nasarawa, they supported PDP. In Enugu, they supported PDP. In Plateau, they supported PDP. In Cross River, they supported PDP. In Ebonyi, they supported APC, including our president candidate. He was on a rise when he said we don't have a candidate in Enugu State. He was on a rise when he said we don't have a candidate in Ebonyi. When Supreme Court has decided on that matter that Splendor Oko is the validly elected candidate. So they were the one that started and said, okay, wherever we don't have a candidate, I voted for Peter Obi during the president election, but I voted for Governor Akpabio during the governorship election, and I voted for our assembly. I didn't vote for any assembly in the APC, but I voted for the governor because we have candidates in assembly, but we don't have for governor.
Currently, he's demanding that Mr. Peter Obi should come out to declare his support for the Apapa faction of the Labour Party openly. That if Mr. Peter Obi is somebody that is law-abiding, that he has to come out to openly declare his support for the Apapa faction. Listen to this again.
Or what exactly are you asking of him if you said that he should follow the law?
Yes, we are asking him to declare that open support for rule of law. If we have a national chairman that on his own volition forge the seal of the Chief Justice of the FCATI Court, if you have a chairman that produces his own treasury single account receipt, if you have a chairman that forge the signature of commissioner for oath, then and a court of competent jurisdiction have looked into this matter and granted an injunction restraining them from parading themselves, Mr. B has no option that to stay on that side if truly we have a business to do in the election petition tribunal. If truly we have a business to do in the election petition tribunal.
This sounds like a threat to Mr. Peter Obi. Is it that if Peter Obi does not declare his support for them, they are not going to join him in the fight at the election tribunal? So guys, you can see that a house divided against itself cannot stand, and that is the situation in the Labour Party. My question remains, these people that are working against Abure, these people that said they've gone to court to secure an order for Mr. Abure to step down. My question is, why now? Why are they doing all these things now? There have been these speculations that they are being sponsored by the APC, and you can see it playing out. So guys, I'm going to allow you watch this video. Please just take your time, relax and digest this video. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.
Some supporters of the Labour Party in Imo State are gathered at another venue for another governorship primary election, this time conducted by Abayami Arabambi, a member of the Lamidi Apapa-led faction of the National Work Committee of the Labour Party. The governorship primaries produced Chibututu Uzuguzu as the winner.
Chief Doctor Chibututu Uzuguzu having scored the lawful majority of all the delegates here present, is hereby declared the winner.
Mr. Izuguzo addresses the gathering.
I promised that if I become the governor of Imo State, I will make sure that all infrastructural facilities are made available. That thing that is in the urban area will be made available in the rural areas.
And in another part of town, yet another primary election is holding.
Then all delegates from Olu West.
The National Vice Chairman, Northeast, Alkali Mohammed Ibrahim, another member of the Lamidi Apapa faction of the National Working Committee, is spearheading the exercise. Ikechukwu Kegbu emerged as the winner of this primary election.
Our candidate, gubernatorial candidate in Imo State, Chief Ikenga, that will lead our Imo State.
Another faction of the Labour Party in Imo State, led by its chairman, Onyekulisi Festus, holds its primary election, producing Basil Maduka as winner. As at the last count, there are 4 candidates for the Labour Party in the Imo State governorship election. Residents are waiting to see how this plays out ahead of the November 11 governorship election in the southeastern state.
The situation in the Labour Party that has led to the emergence of 4 governorship candidates for the Imo State governorship elections. That's a miracle, if you ask me.
4 different primaries.
4 different primaries, 4 governorship candidates, and all of them vying for 1 ticket. They're supposed to be vying for 1 seat, right? With other political parties. But in the studio to help us understand what could have led to all of this, we have Mr. Comrade Eragbe Anselm, who's the National Youth Leader of the Labour Party. Thank you for joining us. Also here is Dr. Abayami Arabambi, the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Nigerians.
We're also expecting to join us Festus Onyekulisi, who's a Chairman, Caretaker Committee, Labour Party in Imo State. And we had also invited to join us for this conversation Barrister Ihejirika Emeka, who is the Media Director to Senator Athan Achonu, who is one of the governorship of one of those that won the primary in Imo State. He had said he would join us to shed light on this whole matter, but so today says he can't make it again. So hopefully we'll get to hear from him and Mr. Onyekulisi before the end of the show. But gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
So let me ask, Dr. Arabambi, you in that report put together by our correspondent, you announced the victory of Dr. Chibuchukwu Izuguzo, right?
Yes.
Okay, and Comrade Anselm, which of the primaries, who won in your own primary?
Chief Ukaibu Okechukwu Joseph Ikenga.
Ikenga, Chief Ikenga, won in your own. Okay, so this is really interesting.
What I have been trying to understand, I mean, only recently, Mr. Rabambi, you were here in our studios talking about the factionalization that has happened, not factionalization, but the dispute you currently have with the national chairman, Mr. Julius Abure. You've gone to court to challenge it, challenge him as chairman, and I think you want him to step down. As a result, one would think that if the problem is only with the chairman, perhaps, you know, many other people within the leadership of the party might be agreed on where the problem lies, and that shouldn't cause a problem within the state, let's say,
structure.
Yeah, the state structures of the party. And even if there is a problem with this, you know, with the national, and it starts to factionalize, maybe those who support the national chairman and those who support well, I say the agitations that you have, it shouldn't be more than two. But what we're saying right now is the conduct of 4 different primaries at the state level in Imo State. How do we explain this breakdown, this total breakdown, it would seem, of what has happened at the national level?
Well, thank you very much. Before the advent of the court ruling, you know, restraining Abure and 3 others, we never knew that Abure, you know, dissolved the elected executive in Imo unilaterally, because his own NWC is all about him. He set up a caretaker headed by the Festus. He dissolved them again for a particular interest, and later he now set up a steering committee, which is unknown to law.
Okay, just a moment. So he dissolved the elected committee. Was that after the elections or before the elections?
No, before the election.
Before the election.
Yeah, before the governorship. Before the governorship.
After
election.
The presidential election.
After the presidential election. You know, he tried to avoid crisis before the presidential election. You know, after the presidential election, you know, he was going down the state to support, you know, some candidate against the Labour Party. So once you are not in tandem with him, you know, the USCO will be dissolved. So he now set up a caretaker for Festus. When those one were not doing the bidding, he now set up a steering committee headed by Mr. Peter Obi. It's unknown to law. We were not aware. So when we proceeded to Imo,
you said he set up a steering committee
for Imo State, headed by Mr. Peter Obi.
Okay.
On his own. Then the executive now went to court. We wrote a letter to Inec. Most of us, we are not, you know, in the...
Who are the executives that went to court?
No, the executive in Imo before.
In Imo,
that was dissolved. So they went to court, and court restrained the NWC and Inec from not recognizing them, and that whatever we do in that state without them, will end up in entirely immunity. We are not aware. So we wrote a letter to Inec, because Abure wrote a letter to Inec before, you know, the court restrained him, saying the primary will hold on 15. But our own was to be, you know, was to take place on the 16th. So in order for Abure to loop himself inside, he now directed his follower that, they should also do their own on the 16th, which we rejected vehemently. So on getting to Imo, that was when the REC informed us of the court order. We were supposed to go to that site where they went, but when I said, no, we are only going to monitor the Mr. Shipututu, that is where they are, and the ESCO that has judgment, we have no choice than to comply. That was why we have to, because we don't want to, you know, take risk. We can still use, you know, internal party machinery, because we are not submitted name. But when the people have a valid court order restraining the national chairman, not Abure, because, you know, when you go to court, you sue the, highest office and Labour Party that they must not do anything that will go contrary to the decision of the court, because the court said caretaker are illegal, talk less of standing committee. So that was what, you know, transpired. And it is that standing committee that appointed Dr. Alex Otiti to go and conduct primary, you know, for the senator, which is going to be, for us, as a law-abiding citizen, is not going to hold water.
But just a moment, Nyota. Which faction then did you support? Is it the one that, or is it the faction of the group that went to court to get a restraining order. Which group are you supporting?
No, the people that went to court, the original executive, are the one are directed by the court. That then WC, you understand, that is the Labour Party. We have been restrained from having anything to do with the caretaker or the standing committee. We are not aware because this crisis started before the governorship election. You know, at times, a national chairman will do something that most of you don't know. But when Inec call us to order, I can say, if you play back that video, you will see Inec official only attending the one I went to. We all of us went together, but we don't have a choice. When Inec said we will not come to that place, so because these people are the valid court order and their lawyer are servers, we have to obey. So we don't have a choice than to go there. So that when we come to Abuja, we will now sit down in house. It's only two primary. The one controlled by the caretaker is illegal. The one controlled by a daughter electricity is illegal because ab initio, the court has given a ruling that Abure and National Secretary must not be seen parading or occupying that office in any capacity. As one day, we are the one that conducted that, we will test, this thing in court. We are ready.
Okay, so Mr. Anselm,
we are not fighting at all.
Comrade, I imagine that you were also at the same primary that he attended. Is that correct?
Oh, no, I was at the other side.
Which other side now? Which of the sides?
Ikenga.
Is that the one of the steering committee or the one of the caretaker committee?
No, none of those.
None of those.
Like you observe, 4 primaries were held. Maybe I just put a little word on this. Because Abure started the process until he was restrained by FCTI court on the 4th of April. Now, those of us who were suspended earlier were reinstated on the 5th. So we assumed responsibility. Now, Abure had proposed the primary for an earlier date before we came in. So immediately we came in, Apapa being the acting national chairman of Labour Party, by reason of the FCTI court restraining order on Abure, because the world needs to know that there's a difference between the 2 court orders. Quickly, while Abure, there was a suspension at his ward, and he went to Benin High Court to seek an enrollment order to prevent the NWC and Inec from implementing that suspension order. That's one, separate, for which the working committee has not done anything about because of that order from the Benin court. There is another order that borders on criminality. Yes, the 4CID, Inspector General of Police, carried out the petition in Ebonyi over infractions. Now, the police investigated and indicted Abure, National Secretary, Treasurer, Organized Secretary, for forgery, criminal conspiracy, and perjury. So this is the basis for the restraining order by the FCTI court on the 4th. Now, arising from there, we came to power on the 5th after NWC meeting. Now, this letter was written subsequently to Inec with respect to the primaries in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi State. So we had shifted our date from what they proposed earlier to on the 16th. So by reason of this, we're all on the same page before I make the statement. Now, committees were set up, Gubernatorial Planning Committee. So for the Imo State, myself, Alhaji Alkali, the National Vice Chairman, Northeast, and Oko Splendor were assigned to go to Imo ordinarily to carry out this responsibility.
By the Apapa?
By the acting national chairman.
Chairman.
So, and himself was to go to Bayelsa and some other few places. But while we were there, like you saw, we carried out our own primaries. Unknown to us, just like I explained, now that there was a subsisting court order on the issues that were generated from the Abure's era. On the ESCOs, he dissolved. So, well, I only got to know about this really at the venue of the primaries. That another primary was taking place because of that reason. So he left.
So one second here. So you got to the venue of the primaries and found out that Arabambi was holding another primary somewhere else.
Yes. No, we got no of the court order there. Inec informed us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you now,
exactly.
But at that point in time, you had to go and hold a primary somewhere, and he holds a primary somewhere else.
Yeah. Couldn't the two of you...
One second. So since you discovered, you got into town and said, okay, my colleague of whom both of us are on the same pathway, on the same page, is holding a primary here. Let's all move to that side. You didn't think to do that, you just continued?
Okay, no, because immediately that happened, just a minute, I was with the resident electoral commissioner in Imo State that day of the, that was on Saturday earlier, before I got this information. So there I asked, what is the position of law on this matter? If it now appears that Inec may not be able to supervise the election for which I came. Are we there? And that's why I said, it's a party issue, that what mattered at that point was we ought to have communicated the Inec first officially. And two, if for any reason Inec will not be on the ground, it's a party affair. We'll go ahead to conduct our primaries and submit to them, then
back to the same question. So he told you it's a party affair.
Yes.
But both of you sitting here are saying that you are on the same page. But yet you still went ahead to conduct a parallel primary. Two primaries at the same time. While the other two groups are having their own primaries, you held your own two primaries. One begins to wonder if you are really on the same page.
No, we are on the same page. Let me say this. It is not a problem from us. It was a problem from the past administration, the former chairman, because when you do an election to elect an executive, it is in our constitution. They cannot be dissolved because you have a maximum tenure of 3 years. It dissolved, we will not know, because he and National Secretary, a lot of time, write letters that a lot of NWC members will not know. He set up a caretaker, thinking they will do his bidding. Those also fell out. He now set up a steering committee. If you look at the primary conducted for that senator, just look at them. You see Oseluka there, you see Dr. Otiti, all of them.
All of them members of your party?
Yes, members of the party, but they don't have the power in the constitution to conduct primary. So then I want to remind you of something. Mr. Samawadi, all of you know him. He withdrew from the race on one condition. He said he's surprised that now they are now dollarizing, Labour Party primary, the delegate primary, and he left. Yeah, he withdrew and left. So what is happening in Labour Party is that, you see, the kind of people that thought they can have their way in a party, we, the older member, are telling them that we will not toe your line. As I speak to Nigerians now, we were in court yesterday, and the court said, I will not vacate the order. That order will succeed pending the full termination of ordinary summon. Their lawyer stormed out, he called Ajero, and they moved straight to the secretariat. As I speak to you now, they are in Asaba. They want to conduct a next meeting. We are, those of us on this side, we will be due for suspension. They want to go and do convention. Now, we are in court seeking mandate. We are in court with PO seeking mandate. Same people are in Nasaba saying they will not respect the court order. We are waiting for them. They said they will not respect court order. But we will respect court order, and we will conclude this into logical conclusion. There is no way we are going to back out of this fight. Because Ajero was on here yesterday. All of you, you listen to what he was saying, that we are roading. They came to fumigate. When you came to fumigate the place, you want to kill the road there. We are not in that class. Ajero is not a member of Labour Party. I want to state it clearly to you. He's not a member of Labour Party. He is not the one to determine that he's a member of the Board of Trustees. Who gave him the letter? Where was the NWC, the meeting we had? Where was he? And I am surprised also, because I have to say it out now, PO should also stay on the side of the law. If really we want to have anything in that tribunal, he must stand on the part of the law.
Just a quick reminder that all the representatives of the 4 governorship candidates in Imo State were invited for this conversation. All 4 of them were invited. I mean, the 4 people that emerged as possible candidates of the Labour Party in the governorship elections, their representatives were all invited here for this conversation. But so far, we have only 2 who say they are not exactly 2 different groups. They are the same. I mean, so...
but we're forced to go to 2 different primaries as a result of
the action of one of the Mr. Abure. Well, I understand our colleagues in Lagos have some questions for you. It's okay, guys.
Well, thank you, Neota. I just want to follow up, Mr. Rabami. Are you asking Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of your party, to then openly declare support for Alhaji Apapa? Or what exactly are you asking of him if you said that he should follow the law?
Yes. We are asking him to declare that open support for rule of law. If we have a national chairman that on his own volition forge the seal of the Chief Justice of the FCATI Court, if you have a chairman that produces his own treasury single account receipt, if you have a chairman that forge the signature of Commissioner for Oath, then, and a court of competent jurisdiction have looked into this matter and granted an injunction restraining them from parading themselves, Mr. B has no option than to stay on that side if truly we have a business to do in the Election Petition Tribunal. Because the fact has to be stated clearly here now. They are in Asaba. And I am telling you confidently that he was also part and parcel of the people that organized Asaba. Now, when we have a valid court order and you are now going ahead to do an illegality in Asaba, if the court now rule otherwise, they will not be accusing President Buhari, they will be accusing Tinubu, they will be accusing Atiku, knowing fully well that they are the one that is infringing, on the law of the land. Because they have no right under whatsoever. If you are looking for justice somewhere, then you must not trample on justice on the, from the other side.
But
a court of competent jurisdiction has restrained Barrister Abure, Clement Ojukwu, the National Treasurer and also National Secretary, Alhaji Umar, from parading themselves as national officer of the party. So anything they do, we nullify it in the court, including the three primary they did. None of them will contest under Labour Party.
Pardon me.
Because we will go back to court to fight content.
I need to come in now, Mr.
Obambi.
The way you speak about those allegations matter-of-factly, I'd like you to speak to this. Has a court found him guilty? Because, in fact, following from what you said the court asked him to stop parading himself. Has a court of competent jurisdiction found him guilty of these allegations which you are speaking about, which are very strong allegations?
No, we have given your studio a copy. What transpired was that we presented this before the court. Now we have a police report from the Inspector General of Police that they were found culpable of perjury.
Has a court, my question is, Mr. Obambi, has a court of competent jurisdiction found him guilty, given a final pronouncement that he is guilty of those allegations which you speak about?
No, the process is on. He was asked to stop parading himself as national officer.
So if the process is on, Mr. Obambi, if the process is on, why do you then speak matter-of-factly that he did those things when you know fully well that the court has not given a final pronouncement?
No. Court doesn't investigate. It is the police that investigate.
No, but the court would pronounce someone guilty or otherwise. So as a court pronounced him guilty, that's what I'm trying to ask.
No, I said the process is on. Before the court will pronounce you guilty, once court said, step aside, stop parading yourself, and you refuse to obey that order, then a lot of questions needed to be asked.
Okay.
And that's what we're saying.
So it's important then to...
Okay, we are looking for justice from the Election Petition Tribunal. Are you getting me? We are looking for justice from the Election Petition Tribunal. We could not obey a simple court order. So are we going to obey the decision of the Election Petition Tribunal?
Okay, so it's important then, Mr. Obambi, to qualify those allegations.
Side of the rule of law.
I understand. So it's important to qualify them as allegations, since, as you said, the process is on and the court has not pronounced him guilty.
He must stop parading himself.
Not speak matter-of-factly, because this is a national television and people might take it wrongly. But there was a picture of you that has been going around with the governor of Ogun State, and that question has been raised time and again. In fact, I had a guest speak to that. And they suspect that you might even be a double agent. Today you're with an APC governor, and then the next moment you are saying you're a Labour Party person. So are you friends with the governor of the APC in Ogun State? To what extent is that influencing what you're doing right now? Is a question they ask.
Yeah, thank you very much. Valentine Osigbo, before the president election, gave a directive from Mr. President, our president candidate. It's all over. That where we don't have candidate, we can support a candidate of our choice. He cannot come out to deny it because it was on so many, a TV station when it was rolling out the system. We don't have a government candidate in Ogun State. Don't forget, most of these obedient. In Nasarawa, they supported PDP. In Enugu, they supported PDP. In Plateau, they supported PDP. In Cross River, they supported PDP. In Ebonyi, they supported APC, including our presidential candidate. He was on a rise when he said we don't have a candidate in Enugu State. He was on a rise when he said we don't have a candidate in Ebonyi. When Supreme Court has decided on that matter that Splendor Oko is the validly elected candidate. So they were the one that started and said, okay, wherever we don't have a candidate, I voted for Peter Obi during the presidential election, but I voted for Governor Datti Ahmed during the governorship election, and I voted for our assembly. I didn't vote for any assembly in the APC, but I voted for the governor because we have candidates in assembly, but we don't have for governor. So it's not a question of APC today, PDP tomorrow. Why was the ESCO in Imo State suspended? The one we are discussing, the elected ESCO. Abure suspended for reason best known to him. In Edo State, I put it to Abure. All our ASO assembly, they are members of PDP. All our assembly candidates, they are members of PDP. They are not members of APC. If you said they are not members of Labour, if you said they are members of PDP, if you say they are member of Labour Party, then we will come back here. I will come and expose him. They are from Governor Obaseki.
Okay,
let
me ask Comrade
I'm saying it on record.
Yes, Mr. Arabambi, we heard you already. Thank you. Well, let me ask Comrade Anslem this next question. As my colleague sitting with you there, Nyota, has said, you have 4 governorship candidates from 4 primary jostling for 1 ticket of the Labour Party in the coming elections in November. Can you tell us whether or not Inec was represented at all 4 primaries, or it was just 1?
Inec came to...
That's for you, Comrade Anslem.
Basically, yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Basically, yeah, like I started explaining my part, the reality. We went on the 16th for our primaries, and we got information of the INEC supervisor to monitor that primary. Now, we found out that earlier he had gone to Abure's venue, because mind you, there are meant to be 2 primaries. The illegal side, which ideally on the face of law is the Abure side. So the INEC people that came earlier had gone there. There were to be 2. The other one was to come to our own. I think INEC noticed that, probably in their wisdom. So first, when we came, went to the INEC office, waited for the person sent to us, we found out that he went to another venue. So I followed up with the INEC officials in their office. That was one. He said the other person was coming, probably now to our own. So while we waited for that, another incident occurred. Because like I said, I have just displayed here the authority with which I went to Imo State from leadership. Now, why that was the case, waiting for that person in the venue the other day, even though I had asked this question to the resident electoral commissioner to say, what if anything happens in the contrary? Because we have only seen one who has gone to the wrong venue. Say, whatever it is, you go and do your primaries, but ensure that the report is filed. So that was the comfort I had. So we went. We're still waiting. When we heard that the other person came and it was another venue, we now got this information from my publicity secretary to say they had a court order from the other ESCO. The reason as to why they had to conduct another primary contrary to the one I was standing in for. So, in summary, this is the position. This is what happened. But for us, because of this scenario that played out just within hours, we needed to manage the situation as it were. So I did mine successfully. And the report is in the media space.
He did his own successfully.
And he did his own successfully on the strength of what he had. So now we are back. And we have made presentation to leadership. In the circumstances we found ourselves. Okay,
yes. Just to clarify here again, that first of all, the 4 candidates in Imo State, their representatives were invited for this conversation. Barrister Ihejirika Emeka, Media Director to Athan Achonu, and Festus Onyekulisi, Factional Chairman, Caretaker Committee, Labour Party Imo State, was also invited, but they could not make it. And you have the other 2 primaries represented here as well. So, Comrade Anselm.
Yes.
Before I ask you this question, let me just read this out. Sam Amadi, you said something about Sam Amadi, former chairman of NERC, how he left because they were dollarizing. But if I remember correctly, what he said, and our correspondent happened to be there, who said, what he said was that he's stepping down from Major General Jack Ogunewe at the ongoing Labour Party primaries, that Jack Ogunewe is the best for the job, and his decision is due to an advice and call from the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero. He did not say anything about dollarizing the process.
He addresses press outside.
Yeah, this is the press. This is what he said.
He addresses the press outside.
This is the press.
You know, somebody was with him.
Anyway, I'm reading to you what he said to the press, contrary to what you're saying to the press here now. But anyway, this matter now. How are you going to resolve this matter? Because in the Labour Party, there are people, Nigerians out there who support the Labour Party, who are hooting for the Labour Party in Imo State. Now, you're causing them to be torn between 4 people from Imo State.
No, we didn't have 4.
There are 4 candidates.
No.
Hold on. Should I read out their name?
No, I said we don't have 4.
Senator Ethan Ajono.
Let him finish the question.
Dr. Chibuchukwu Iziguzo. Ikechukwu Ukebu. Right? Dr. Ikechukwu Ukebu.
That's Ikenga.
And Mr. Basil Maduka. Right? 4. And you say you don't have 4.
No, of all the 4, let me tell you, he told you they met with the REC, and REC explained to them, we have a valid court order here. Don't get your delegate agitated. Do what you want to do. But for me, where Inec was, with the valid court order, from those elected executives, we also had to attend.
So Inec was in 2 places?
No.
In its wisdom, was in 2 places?
No, with us.
With you. He said here, Inec was where Dr. Oti was.
Yes, I said from outside now, because of the valid court order, you understand? I don't know how they manage their space, but I can tell you that those 2 have nowhere they are going because of the subsisting court order.
So, youth leader,
but we harmonize our own.
Can this matter in the Labour Party be resolved quickly before the next election? It's a very quick answer.
Of course. Basically, dispute resolutions are internal in party. It is provided by law. So more so for us, because we are on the path of law, the Apapa-led Labour Party, because there's no faction. I need to say this quickly. All we have is leadership issues, and the court is clear on that matter.
Labour Party is one.
So Labour Party is one Labour Party, no faction, and the leader is Lamidi Bashir Apapa.
All right.
Now for us, yes, this thing can be resolved. So now we are back. Internally, we look at what transpired and bring in the candidates, and we deal with this issue.
Thank you.
Amicably.
Thank you very much, Comrade Eragbe Anselm, National Youth Leader, Labour Party, and Dr. Abayami Arabambi, National Policy Secretary, Labour Party. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Remember that we also invited Barrister Ihejirika Emeka, Media Director to Athan Achonu, and Mr. Festus Onyekulisi, who's the Caretaker Committee Chairman, Labour Party, Imo State, but they could not make it to the show today. Thank you so much for coming on, gentlemen.
So guys, you've heard it for yourself. You've seen what is happening in the Labour Party. So as it stands now, in Imo State, we have 4 governorship candidates. That's really so appalling, honestly. We didn't imagine this happening in the Labour Party. Honestly, nobody could believe this could happen in the Labour Party. But you know, it's good that these things are happening so that we'll get to understand the kind of people that are in the Labour Party. My suggestion to all these things is that, you know, in the future, we'll come up with a new party. A new party that the obedience will subscribe to, and we'll just leave Labour Party for these people that claim that they are old members, that they've been there, as in nobody can come to displace them. They are not ready to follow the rule because they've been there for long. That's what all these things means. So guys, I just hope that these things, you know, get settled, as in this crisis gets settled. I just pray that people will have wisdom to ensure that this situation is arrested on time, especially, you know, those of them at the top. And also Mr. Peter Obi has to come in this matter to ensure he arrested, because like you can see, these people, they are determined, and the way they are going, honestly, it appears they are working for another party. You can imagine him boldly saying that, after all, Mr. Peter Obi said it in the national television, go and support people that you feel you want to support, and that's also a lesson for us, you know. Whenever our party does not have a candidate, it's better we don't vote to avoid all this crisis. Now they are like, it's Peter Obi that asked them to do that, and that is an open door for other evil things to be happening in the Labour Party. So guys, you have seen it, and we are just hoping that this crisis will be brought under control so that we can go to the tribunal to reclaim our mandates. Honestly, when a house is divided, it's so difficult to get victory, because people will be looking at Labour Party as if they don't know what they are doing. But I'm very, very happy that, you know, Labour Party is all about the obedience. I mean, Peter Obi is about the obedience. If these people are claiming that they are the owners of the Labour Party, I think we are not struggling that with them. We are just with Mr. Peter Obi. If Peter Obi moves to another party tomorrow, we'll move with him. So it's not as if we are that, you know, Labour Party members. If these people claim that they've been old in the Labour Party, they are the people that started Labour Party, and that nobody can come to displace them. Yes, nobody is arguing that with them, but honestly, we have to tell them that our support is just for Mr. Peter Obi. If Mr. Peter Obi leaves the Labour Party tomorrow, I tell you, the obedience will live with him. We are not going to stay back because Peter Obi was once in the Labour Party. So guys, you have heard it for yourself. I'm just hoping that this situation, I'm just hoping that these things will be brought under control so that the Labour Party can move forward. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.